What's up, loungers? I hope everybody is doing as great as I am this evening. Shout out to all of you who are in the clouds. Make sure that you guys do hit that like button, and all of you who will catch the replay. I truly appreciate all of you as well. Okay. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well, or the dislike, it doesn't matter, but just make sure that you're engaging. Listen, guys, this is not going to be one of those chop down a bitch type of videos or any of that. Actually, I wanted to point out a very important thing that came up during that time when this all was coming out in regards to Victor Cousins. Okay. Now, I must say that I don't fully agree with everything in what he was doing. Okay. But I can see why this happened. Right. And I think that this is a very important discussion that is not often talked about in our community. Oftentimes we push stuff like this and conversations like this under the rug and kind of push it away. And we kind of just don't want to talk about it. But in actuality, these are things that are happening every single day in the church. Okay. This is not something that is new to the community. And this is not something that hasn't happened in the past. But before we get into that, I am going to play a video from that time that Larry Reed actually has on his channel. And there was this video, I don't know if he still has it up, but this video has been in several places. And it's a video of when Drea had went up and spoke with the women of the prophetic college, but we're not going to show that portion of the video. We're actually going to show the part of the video after the fact, after she had spoken with them and kind of gave her side of the story. I think everybody heard that. If not, we'll do that on another day. But either way, we're going to talk about what this other man said and the importance of what he said. And I think, a couple of people missed the point of what this brother was talking about. But I think what he said made a lot of sense. And I definitely wanted to touch on that because even myself, I've experienced things in the church. Other people have experienced things in the church. I've experienced things as even a Jehovah's Witness. That's not even in the church, but it's still a religion. And I've experienced things even in the Christian church as well. So, and other people have too. But I think it's important to hear what this brother had said. And if he had, and if others had even heard what he had said, possibly it wouldn't have even gotten this far between Drea and Victor Cousins if, the two of them had heard what this brother was trying to say. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and get right into this hot topic. All right, so I'm going to remove the banner so that you guys can see this video because this was a really interesting video that I listened to. And I thought he had a really great message. Again, like I said, if his message had been heard and if it is heard even across the world, we probably wouldn't have as much of these types of situations as we've had. But I really want you guys to kind of hear the gist of it. And then I'll give you guys my commentary at the end.
I don't have questions as much as a comment. And this is just maybe just a different perspective. I don't believe that this is about women. I believe that this is about a larger culture within the church. I believe that we learn how to do church. And when we learn how to do church, we learn institutionalized hypocrisy. Because, you see, the hypocrite is not the person who fornicates and comes to church. It's the one who fornicates, comes to church and says, I don't fornicate. Right. Yeah. And what we have created as a culture in the church is a culture where you can't be honest. Yeah. Yeah. It shouldn't take courage for her to tell her story. But the culture has created an environment where she has to muster up the courage and then look for supporters to just tell the truth.
That's right.
But in the church, because we are so first sin conscious, devil conscious, rule conscious, then everything becomes a cover up then. Because then, if I don't cover it up, you'll tell me I'm not saved. You'll say I don't have the Holy Ghost. You'll say that God's not dealing with me or God's not using me because I didn't meet all the rules or I don't fit the culture. When in fact, the culture was supposed to be, now y'all can correct me if I'm wrong about this, where before he ever says the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous avails much, he starts by saying, confess your faults one to another, and then pray for each other that you might be healed. The inference there is that the church should be a culture where you can feel free to come and say, I love God, but I got this issue. I got the Holy Ghost. I'm struggling with this. I'm called to be a prophet, an apostle, a bishop, a pastor, but I'm still struggling here with this, and this. And nobody judged me, but everybody prayed for me because they recognize that even if my struggle isn't your struggle, I got a struggle. But what we have specialized in is playing the game. So everybody knows when to quicken, and everybody knows when to Hanukkah, and everybody knows how to carry themselves like the bishop, like the apostle, like this, whatever, in front of people. But you have all of these demons behind closed doors. And I'm talking about spirits. When I say demons, I'm talking about thoughts, consciousness, things going on in your mind. Come on. Things that are handed down to you from parents or environment or culture. Go ahead.
He said a mouthful, guys. He definitely said a mouthful there. And I want to break down a little bit of what he was saying, because I think while Drea was in the background and y'all could see her in the background just kind of nodding her head, I think she was missing the point of what this brother was saying. I'm going to play it one more time because I would like for you guys to hear again a lot of what he said. Now, that's for those who have just come in and those who missed what he said as well, okay? Because I can't stop and go with this video. I kind of uploaded it. So I want you guys to hear again. It's about 2 minutes long. And we're going to hear what he said. All right. Listen very closely and listen with your heart. Listen with your heart and pay attention to what this man said.
I don't have questions as much as a comment. And this is just maybe just a different perspective. I don't believe that this is about women. I believe that this is about a larger culture within the church. I believe that we learn how to do church. And when we learn how to do church, we learn institutionalized hypocrisy. Because, you see, the hypocrite is not the person who fornicates and comes to church. It's the one who fornicates, comes to church and says, I don't fornicate. And what we have created as a culture in the church is a culture where you can't be honest. It shouldn't take courage for her to tell her story. But the culture has created an environment where she has to muster up the courage and then look for supporters to just tell the truth.
That's right.
But in the church, because we are so first sin conscious, devil conscious, rule conscious, then everything becomes.
So I'm going to stop that right there, okay? Because I think that everybody heard enough with that. I played the whole thing. I can play it again, but I think everybody kind of heard enough of what he was saying. What I got from what this brother was saying, right? And if, like I said, I want you to, sometimes you got to listen with your third eye, right? What I got what this brother was saying is, this isn't about women at all. Because what she did was she interrupted the conversation. She came in and she was starting to tell her quote unquote story about Victor Cousins, okay, to this church in the middle of a service, okay, to these women. And the brother kind of intervened and he hopped up and said, well, listen, I don't think this is really about women, okay? Like, we're not about to make this about men versus women, okay? But rather, this is about a culture of an environment in the church where people are not able to be honest about their personal lives. If you're tell the church about your personal life, this is what happens, okay? Either somebody in the church is going to weaponize what has happened or what you're doing against you and use it against you, right? Or, you know, if something is revealed about you, that would then turn around and you're viewed a certain way by your congregation. That's exactly what I got from this man. It was a demonic energy that came in and tried to disrupt the situation and disrupt that service, okay? And tried to make this as if this person was some type of victim. When in all honesty, Victor Cousins didn't do anything but be a man, okay? He was dating a woman who he felt like she wasn't up to par. He had been sleeping with her for 8 fucking years, okay? And she wasn't, his cup of tea. He started dealing with someone else. And even before that, he was married and dealing with somebody else, okay? And then there was another woman he had been dealing with, and she was aware of all of these women, okay? So this is how Victor Cousins is viewing this. And then he takes on the new woman that he has. She becomes his fiance, and he announces that to the world, okay? He was fucking this chick on the side. He stopped messing with her, and her story became this elaborate story of Victor, trying to sweep her off her feet and take care of her children and all these other things, okay? And she even went as far, being so demonic driven, she went as far as the same week that all of this went down, and that, all of this whole Facebook video and all that stuff went down. This is when she was at this church and she was having this conversation with these women, okay? And trying to force the church to believe, that Victor Cousins has made her a victim, okay? This is unfortunate in this situation because what this brother is saying is right. People do not come to the church because people victimize or people weaponize what people do in their personal life with the church, literally. Like, how many souls and how many people did not want to come now to Victor Cousins' church or now didn't want to deal with him because in their minds, this whole idea of what a bishop should be or how a pastor should behave or how a pastor should act or in his personal life as a man, how these things should be, this affected these people. I really think that's kind of messed up. I'm not saying that, she's like completely responsible for all of that because I don't think so. I do think he's also wrong in his part, for playing 2 women. But I don't think that at the same time, he should have been held to the fire at the level that he did, because based off of even what this minister said, he's still a man, right? Even if he is a man of God, even if he is a pastor, even if he is, preaching and teaching God's word, is he perfect? Absolutely not. It's not like she said he R-worded her, right? Or he did something to her child, or he really committed a crime, because he didn't commit a crime. Literally, he stopped giving her the anointed dick. That's what happened. That's what she said. Okay. So with him doing that, that is not a crime, but it became a crime in the eyes of the church. And there's people like Larry Reed and others who have even taken and literally used that and weaponized this stuff against this man. Now these kinds of things have turned around against these same people, right? Like Larry Reed, who has now this brother who is coming forward and saying that Larry did things to him allegedly when he was a teenager. Okay. Now that is a completely different situation than Victor Cousins having sex with a girl who was 29 years old at the time. And, she was well in her age, age range. She has 4 children. He's aware of all of them, and everything else. So, it's not like he's not aware of this woman and, and he's doing something illegal, because he wasn't. And he wasn't married. He was sleeping with her, while he, was engaged to somebody else and became engaged to them and then announced that on Facebook. And this is what Drea had the problem with. So I want to commend that brother for what that brother said, because for those that really caught that message, they understood. Why are y'all holding this man to the fire like this, as if he really did commit some type of crime? I could see if he did something like, he was embezzling money from the church, which she did claim he was doing, but there was never any evidence of that was brought forth. I do know that looking into the case, and I'm going to go over that on another time, looking into the case, that that case was dismissed. It was dismissed on a technicality, and the rest of it was never brought up. Like, she never went and reopened it anywhere else. She has to go and file those charges, because the state is just like, whatever, they dismissed it. Okay. So yeah, as far as anything like that, she can't, there's no proof that he embezzled any money from the church or anything like that at all. Not, concerning any of this stuff. So I'm not really sure where, the crime comes in, where, he's really supposed to be held to this fire, like she has done so. And like she has even presented him even in this sector. But I just wanted to bring that up. And I really I appreciate that, Alan, for the super chat. You said rejection can cause psychosis. Yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going on with her. I'm thinking that, the entire whole life story of her being, going through rejection and going through stuff in her past is exactly why, if she feels like even remotely that somebody's trying to reject her or turn away or not deal with her, she goes to great lengths to try to make them look like they are this horrible, this terrible person who is really out to get her and out to hurt her. And it don't even be anywhere close to that. It's just all in her mind, But yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up because I thought this was crazy that, that it came to that level, and that there was somebody in the church that was right there that had enough discernment to pick that up. I'm going to go ahead and look at the rest of that video. There's another portion of that video as well, where she actually gets up and talks to the prophetic college. And, I never really paid a lot of attention to everything that she said, but I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to it. But I really, really appreciated this brother for picking up on that spirit, right? And knowing that, he could figure it out like really easily, that she was weaponizing this against this man. It's not like, he was committing some crime. He just stopped sleeping with you, hon, and you're mad about it. Like, that's it. And you feel like you can come in this church and disrupt the entire church over that. And then Larry Reed just ran with that story because, that he's the gossip queen of the churches, allegedly. He's a king queen of the church. Okay. This is what he does. He gossips about pastors and ministers and stuff. And look how that came back to bite him on the ass. But the bottom line is, unfortunately for her, that guy definitely picked that up. And I'm glad that that was something that's, permanent and something we can go back and analyze even now. But yes, I absolutely agree that rejection can cause psychosis. And I do think that that has something to do with her behavior with this whole situation, which is pretty sad, when you think about it. It really is. It's unfortunate. But, hey, it is what it is. You said he said a grip. He definitely did. But guys, listen, I'm going to end the show here. I wasn't going to be long. I just wanted you guys to hear that and at least get a understanding of where this brother was coming from and how this definitely, sounds most definitely like, he really caught on to, that this is not really that big of a deal, and, we've seen much worse in the church, but, how is it in the church that we behave like that, where, we have this certain idea of what people are supposed to be like and how people are supposed to behave, Now I get it. There's just certain ethics, right? And rules in life that, yes, we expect people to follow, right? You don't hurt children, you don't hurt women, you don't do, specific things like that. These are things that there's just things that we all know, right? But, this man was being a man. It's not like he was, I don't see where the crime was, right? It's only in her mind and only her story that there's been these several women. But if you look high and low for any of these women, they're nowhere to be found. There's no interview of any of these women. There's not a Facebook post, a Facebook picture, nothing. But they all of this stuff exists, all these stories and commentary on all this. The only one that ever pops up is Andrea Garrison and her story and whatever receipts that she presents, which we all know we can't trust that. But either way, the bottom line is, I really don't think, I think Victor Cousins was held to the fire for something that he should not have been. And I also think that happens so often in the church that it really turns people away from the church. It turns people away from really being able to confess and talk about things that they're dealing with, and that they're going through, because they're going to be judged, right? So they have to hide those things. They have to keep that stuff away because they're literally going to be judged if they come in and talk about these things. And this is a prime example, and she knew that he would be judged in that way. And so she weaponized that against him, because if the church wouldn't have cared, right? Like if the church would have been like, okay, like he was being a man, she wouldn't have went on Facebook and told all that stuff and said all these things and did all this stuff. She wouldn't have did any of that because it wouldn't have mattered. Literally, it would not have mattered because, like I said, it's just, he's being a man. He's being who men do, Men date women, right? Men see women. They sleep with women. That's what happens. And she's the one that did not get chosen. And she felt some type of way. And that's unfortunate for her. But anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here. I do truly appreciate y'all for being in the building. Make sure that you guys do hit the like button. And I will talk to you guys later. And thank you guys for being here. Truly appreciate you. Said exactly. Truly appreciate y'all for being in the building. And make sure you guys, again, hit the like button. I will talk to you guys later. And peace, guys. Thank you guys again for watching.